You ever see a car so over the top that it makes you wonder, how was that even allowed? Luxury cars are known for pushing boundaries, adding wild features just to stand out. But sometimes those features go too far. They might look cool or feel futuristic, but they end up being too risky, distracting, or just plain unsafe. Over the years, car makers have had to pull back on some wild ideas, either because of new laws, safety rules, or plain common sense. Today, we're counting down 15 luxury car features that were banned forever. Some of them will blow your mind. Gold-plated interiors. It might sound flashy, but some luxury cars use real gold inside the cabin. We're talking dashboards, gear levers, trim pieces, all coated in actual gold. Rolls-Royce and Bentley were known to offer this option to wealthy customers. The problem? It wasn't just unnecessary, it was actually dangerous. The shiny surfaces reflected too much light, causing visibility issues while driving. On top of that, gold doesn't perform well in crashes. Some countries eventually put restrictions on using reflective metals inside vehicles, and automakers dropped gold-plated interiors completely. Now you mostly see brushed finishes or matte metallics instead. Pop-up headlights were once a design trend that made sports cars look sleek and futuristic. They disappeared into the body when not in use and looked incredibly clean. But there were multiple problems. First, the mechanism that lifted the lights often failed. Second, they posed a safety risk for pedestrians in case of a collision. Countries like Japan and those in the EU began tightening pedestrian safety standards, and pop-up headlights just didn't meet those. Eventually, automakers stopped including them, and they faded out of production completely by the early 2000s. TV screens for the front seat. Some high-end cars offered TV screens in the dashboard, allowing the front passenger, and sometimes even the driver, to watch TV or movies. While the intention was to entertain the passenger, the driver could often see the screen as well. This became a serious distraction and increased the risk of accidents. Laws were passed to prohibit video playback in view of the driver while the car is moving. Today, front seat screens still exist, but they're heavily limited. Most systems shut off video when the vehicle is in motion, or they're designed with a viewing angle the driver can't see. Built-in cigarette lighters and ashtrays. For decades, luxury cars included fancy cigarette lighters and ashtrays as standard. Some even had gold-trimmed lighters and crystal ashtrays. But as the dangers of smoking became more widely accepted, especially around kids, lawmakers began banning smoking in cars in certain regions. Automakers responded by removing these features altogether. Now, instead of a cigarette lighter, you get a power outlet. And ashtrays? Those are optional accessories, if they're available at all. Neon underbody lights. These glowing lights underneath the car looked cool at night and made vehicles appear like they were floating. Popular in the tuner and luxury scenes, neon lights became common in the early 2000s. But they also became a problem. Certain colors, like red and blue, resembled police lights. Others were just too distracting for other drivers. Several states and countries banned underglow lights on public roads. Today, you might still see them at car shows or on private property, but they're illegal on most highways. Champagne minibars. Luxury sedans like Maybach and Rolls-Royce once offered built-in champagne coolers and crystal glassware for rear passengers. It sounded classy, but it created legal issues. Open alcohol in a moving vehicle is illegal in many places, regardless of who's drinking it. The minibars encouraged a culture of drinking in the car, even if the driver wasn't involved. To avoid liability and comply with regulations, automakers eventually phased out built-in alcohol storage. Now you'll find cooled compartments, but not stocked minibars. Joystick steering systems. Some luxury car brands experimented with replacing the traditional steering wheel with a joystick. It gave the cabin a futuristic look and made the car feel like an aircraft. But it turned out to be a nightmare in emergency situations. Drivers found it difficult to make quick corrections or perform precise maneuvers. Safety tests showed inconsistent results. Eventually, regulatory bodies insisted on traditional steering mechanisms for all street-legal cars, and joystick steering was dropped before it could catch on. Laser headlights offered intense brightness and could illuminate roads far ahead. BMW and Audi were among the brands testing them, but they were too powerful. Oncoming drivers complained about being blinded, even with automatic dimming features. Regulators began stepping in, setting strict limits on brightness and beam range. The most powerful versions were taken off the market. Today, only toned-down versions of laser headlights are allowed, and even those are extremely rare. Retractable license plates. Some luxury cars were fitted with retractable or hidden license plates. Owners use them to keep the car's lines smooth for car shows, or less legally, to avoid speed cameras and tolls. It didn't take long for this to catch the attention of law enforcement. These systems were soon banned in many regions. If you're caught with one today, expect fines or worse. Manufacturers quietly removed the option, and retractable plates are now seen as more of a stunt than a serious feature. External spare tires on luxury SUVs. Some luxury SUVs had visible external spare tires mounted on the back, often with stylish covers. While it made the car look rugged, it posed a danger in rear-end collisions. The hard-mounted tire increased the chance of injury to occupants of smaller cars behind. Insurance studies showed a higher risk of damage and injury in accidents involving these vehicles. As a result, automakers redesigned SUV rears to keep spare tires hidden or mounted underneath the vehicle. Transparent roofs without shades. Luxury cars often push boundaries in design, and some offered full-glass roofs with no sunshades. It looked modern and gave the interior a bright, open feel, but it also turned the cabin into an oven. UV rays, glare, and heat became a serious problem. Passengers reported discomfort and even mild sunburns during long drives. Regulators stepped in, and manufacturers were forced to include UV filters and retractable shades in all panoramic roof designs going forward. Cars without side mirrors. A few high-end cars introduced camera systems instead of traditional side mirrors. These looked cool and offered better aerodynamics. The idea was that cameras would send live video feeds to screens inside the car. While it worked in theory, the systems often failed in bad weather, at night or in direct sunlight. Drivers also struggled to adjust to looking at screens instead of mirrors. In many regions, laws still require physical mirrors, so this tech hasn't been widely adopted yet. Some countries banned them altogether for use on public roads. Full reclining seats in the front row. In an attempt to make front passengers more comfortable, some luxury vehicles offered fully reclining front seats, like beds. It was designed for executives or celebrities who were being chauffeured. The issue? Safety. In the event of a crash, seatbelts and airbags can't protect you properly if you're lying down. Regulations now require front seat backs to remain upright to a certain degree while the car is in motion. Reclining front seats are still allowed, but only to a limited angle. Bulletproof civilian cars with military features. Some ultra-luxury buyers took things too far by ordering cars with military-grade features, like bulletproof glass, run-flat tires, and even smoke screens. Brands like Mercedes-Benz and BMW offered these through special programs, but it raised concerns about civilians owning vehicles that could evade police or break through checkpoints. Many countries now place heavy restrictions on such modifications. Today, armored cars are usually reserved for diplomats, cash transport, or special use licenses. Full self-driving without human override. A few luxury brands showcased concept cars with full autonomous driving. No steering wheel, no pedals, no controls for the user at all. The car would do everything on its own. While it was impressive, it wasn't realistic. Legal frameworks aren't ready, and the technology isn't foolproof. Multiple governments stepped in and banned testing of such vehicles on public roads unless they had manual override options. Full self-driving cars without any human control remain a concept for now. Luxury cars have always been about pushing the envelope, but as we've seen, not every idea is a good one. Some features were too flashy, others too risky, and a few were just plain ridiculous. In the end, safety, legality, and practicality usually win. Still, it's fun to look back at these features and wonder what automakers will try next. If you enjoyed this countdown, give it a thumbs up, share it with your fellow car lovers, and don't forget to subscribe for more content like this. Got a favorite band feature? Let us know in the comments. Thanks for watching and drive safe.